How's it guys, Reba here. So the Warzone Season 4 Reloaded patch is here and brings with it one of the biggest weapon balance changes we've seen in the history of Warzone. From changes to the nail gun, the SA-87, all the way up to the PKM. It almost feels like no gun was spared and it really shakes things up. Weapons like the Farah and XM4 that was made out a week ago might not be all that viable after this update. But that brings us to today's video, the Cold War MP5 versus the Modern Warfare MP5. If you asked me 2 weeks ago which close range SMG I preferred, the answer undoubtedly would be the Cold War MP5. I did a previous video on the Cold War MP5 where I explained how powerful that weapon can be in close range engagements, with it having one of the fastest time to kill when it comes to SMGs in Warzone. But with the Season 4 Reloaded patch, Rayman nerfed both the maximum and minimum damage of the weapon. But how much of a difference does it really make? And is it finally time to dust off the Modern Warfare MP5 and play like it's the original Season 1 of Modern Warfare again? Well, stick around because in this video we'll go over the base stats of both MP5s, check out the time to kill, the meta builds I recommend, do some recoil control statistics and reach a final verdict on which MP5 is most worthy to be featured in your close range loadout. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to stay up to date with everything Warzone, including stats and gameplay, make sure to smash that subscribe button, hit a like so this video can reach more people, and let's get technical. Starting off with the base statistics, we can see that the Cold War MP5 has a faster firing rate than the Modern Warfare MP5 at 800 to 54 rounds per minute, but has less damage per bullet compared to the Modern Warfare MP5. Both weapons have a first damage range drop off at about 9 meters. We'll be able to extend that a little bit further with the meta builds we'll get into shortly. Another difference between the two is that the Modern Warfare MP5 has a second damage range drop off, where the Cold War MP5 only has one. And that leads us into a very interesting time to kill chart. As you guys can see on screen, the Cold War MP5's faster firing rate doesn't make up for the less damage per bullet compared to the Modern Warfare one. The Modern Warfare MP5 has a faster time to kill for chest shots and stomach shots up close in the first and second damage ranges. And that second damage range of the Modern Warfare MP5 stretches out all the way to about 19.65 meters. After 19.65 meters, the Cold War MP5 will take the lead in time to kill on chest shots, stomach shots and headshots, with the Modern Warfare MP5 falling behind with a time to kill of 856 milliseconds to the chest and stomach, as well as 631 milliseconds to the head in the third damage range. And that brings us to an interesting conclusion. SMGs are made for close range engagement, so looking at the charts we can see that the Modern Warfare MP5 will beat the Cold War MP5 in almost all situations, except if you manage to hit only headshots with the Cold War MP5 in the first damage range. In a third damage range where the Modern Warfare MP5 fall behind at 19.65 meters, we'll probably pull out to AR or sniper rifle, so the faster long range time to kill of the Cold War MP5 doesn't really matter in a situation like this. So let's jump into the class setups to see where we can maximize each of these weapons potential. Starting off with the Modern Warfare MP5. For the barrel I went with a monolithic integral suppressor. Increases our bullet velocity and also keeps us off the minimap when we shoot. Next we'll equip the 5mW laser just to help us with increased hip fire accuracy. This helps up with the close range engagements we don't have time to ADS. Because we saved up an extra weapon slot with the barrel, I chose sleight of hand just to help with the reloading and equipped a 45 round mag, which is the biggest you can get on the Modern Warfare MP5. And lastly I recommend the mercenary foregrip, just further helps us with hip fire accuracy while also assisting us with some recoil control. That's it for the build of the Modern Warfare MP5. Maximized for hip fire accuracy, close range engagements and reload times. And now jumping over to the Cold War MP5. Starting off with the sound suppressor. Gives us a boost to bullet velocity, aim down sight time as well as sprint to fire time. For the barrel I stuck with the Task Force barrel, gives us a further boost to bullet velocity and effective damage range. Moving over to the stock, I recommend the SAS combat stock. Helps with firing movement speed, ADS movement speed and ADS firing movement speed. Moving over to ammunition, 50 round drum mag gives us 5 more bullets than the Modern Warfare MP5. It makes it easier to engage multiple targets. Lastly, for the underbarrel I went with the field agent grip. This just helps to get rid of some of the vertical and horizontal recoil. That's definitely needed with this weapon. So let's just quickly check out how this meta build changes the stats of each weapon. We end up with a bullet velocity of 671.25 meters per second on the Modern Warfare MP5, which is about 80 meters per second faster than the Cold War MP5. We also managed to stretch out our first damage range drop off to about 10.67 meters on the Modern Warfare MP5, and the second damage range drop off all the way out to 19.65 meters. The Cold War MP5 does have faster ADS time and movement speed than the Modern Warfare MP5, as well as a bigger reduction to horizontal recoil. But how big of a difference does it really make? Let's quickly find out by looking at the recoil of both weapons. Starting off with the Modern Warfare MP5. We're about 10 meters away from target. This is me just shooting, not trying to control the recoil. Now moving over to the Cold War MP5. As we can see, there's a massive spike at the beginning, and then it suddenly just stops. That makes it very difficult when you start shooting at people, especially at range. To compensate for recoil like that on a controller is not easy at all. It makes this weapon almost unusable at medium to long range. So even though it has a faster time to kill than the Modern Warfare MP5 at range, to actually hit your targets will be much more difficult. So what's the final verdict? We can see the Cold War MP5 has a faster firing rate than the Modern Warfare 1, has a faster time to kill after 19.65 meters, but has much worse recoil control, as well as a slower reload time. The Modern Warfare MP5 has a faster up close time to kill, much better recoil control and faster bullet velocity. And overall I feel the Modern Warfare MP5 is just a better all-round SMG. And with all of the nerfs to the other SMGs, the Modern Warfare MP5 might just be back from the dead, ready to claim that meta title that it once did many seasons ago. And I've been playing with the Modern Warfare MP5 in Rebirth for the past couple of days, and I was truly impressed by how well this weapon performed. And I'm pretty surprised by the changes that Raven implemented, because in my last video I said that I think the Cold War weapons are really starting to take over and pushing the Modern Warfare weapons into an unusable state. And here we are, 2 weeks later, with the Modern Warfare weapon taking the win. So it's a really interesting time for Warzone. And I'm really glad that Raven did make these changes. It just makes the meta wide open again. It makes us experiment with weapons again that we almost forgot about. So I'll be enjoying myself in the coming days, testing out the buffed Growl, also the M13. So if you guys don't want to miss out on that, make sure you subscribe, hit that like. Remember, stay safe, stay gaming. I'll check you guys on the next one.